The two things, I think technology, first of all, has made where I was talking previously about such a limited amount of technology that you really had to learn it and figure out tricks around the limitations. And now there is no limitation, and I think that's made generally artists lazy. When you start GarageBand, you say, what key of the song do you want to be in? Oh, I want to make it D minor. Oh, what tempo? 80. Okay, you're going to go spend $100 on 10 gigabytes of loops, and when you drag them into the window, they're all pre-coded, and it makes them all D minor at 80 beats a minute. And so you don't even really need to have any schooling in music. And so in general, I think even though the possibilities should allow for more creativity, it's actually made less creativity because it's just become too easy. You don't have to work for it anymore. In 5 minutes, I can make you a GarageBand song right now. It sounds like anything on radio. It's exciting maybe, but also kind of scary that's what it's been reduced to. And with all the other technologies, you don't have to be a good drummer. You can just chop it all in Pro Tools. You don't have to be a good singer. You just run autotune. I mean, it's now labels are signing bands because they will appeal to a 14-year-old kid, not whether or not they're really good musicians and those songs were good. Because you know what? We'll go hire ghost musicians to play it all in the studio for you, and but you look really cute and you can dance, and here's your haircut and here's your clothes, and here's the clothing sponsor for the tour, so go, that kind of thing. And that's kind of sad. Yeah, but it is what it is. I'm, whatever. I don't really care one way or the other. It doesn't affect me at my age and what I do for a living. But as far as you were asking about distribution as well, yeah, it's very much affected that because there's very few CD stores left. Tower's out of business. Virgin has a few left, but, they also have DVDs, video games, cafes. There's a whole clothing department. They have a great book department, by the way. A lot of good music books. So it has to be more of a lifestyle. Hot Topic, one of the biggest chains in America, is tailored towards goth and metal kids. And they sell piercing jewelry and goth clothing and makeup, and they sell Tim Burton action figures, and they have a small music section in the back. And, they have some of the newer bands, Devil Wears Prada and My Chemical, and Manson still sold there, but they only sell that genre appealing to those kids, type of thing. So, so you have to do things in a different way, and I think people like, Nails giving away the last record, and also Radiohead kind of did that thing where it wasn't really given away, but it was, okay, if you really want to type in zero, I think it was $1 you had to type in at the minimum, something like that, but it was basically giving it away. Because what's happened is the paradigm of the industry has now switched where everybody realizes no one's making any money on selling records anymore, because at 99 cents a song, you're not forced to spend $18 to buy a CD. And I knew those days were dead when one day I was back visiting my mom and dad in Erie, and it was the first Harry Potter movie had just come out on DVD. And I've read all those books on tour, like everybody in the world has pretty much. But I had never seen the movie because I was on tour and I didn't get to go see it. And I was like, oh, great. So on the shelf next to the checkout counter is the DVD on sale for $14.99, and right next to it is John Williams' score. It was $18.99. And I went, oh, well, there's the end of records, because how can a DVD of an entire movie with alternate endings and all this surround sound and everything else, how could that be cheaper than 50 minutes of John Williams score material with nothing but a little tiny booklet? And people started getting fed up with those prices and stuff like that, and that also led to it. And many, many things all happened at the same time. And but now, yeah, if you hear a song on the radio, or you see it on TV, or you hear it in an iPod commercial, like the Feist song, one that was a big hit for her, you just go and boom, 99 cents, download. But it's hard to make a living and pay your rent at 99 cents a song. You gotta sell a lot of songs, because after Apple takes a cut, and the label takes a cut, and the publisher takes a cut, and the manager takes a cut, you're left with not a whole heck of a lot per song. So what's happened is, but what new material allows you to do is tour. And now that people know anybody can steal music, what's really special is getting a ticket to see Radiohead at the Hollywood Bowl, which I tried to 4 times and couldn't get. I've seen them 100 times, but I will pay any amount of money to see Radiohead. And they just did 2 nights at the Bowl this past summer. I asked every friend in the industry. I couldn't get a ticket. I was like, please, I'll pay whatever you want. Just get me one, No, it was impossible. And that's now become, I'm sitting here talking about because I really wanted to see that show. Really, really bad. And much like Europe has always had a great live scene. I mean, touring in Europe is so much better than America. Fans are more loyal. Like, they have the whole festival thing that we're now just starting to get with Coachella and Bonnaroo and a couple other ones, and Lollapalooza that's now back in Chicago. Those are all recent phenomenons. But Europe, it's been going on for 20 years. America's just caught up. seeing a band in person, and like there's only going to be 50,000 tickets, and yeah, you can watch it on YouTube, but it's crap because it's on someone's cell phone. Seeing the band live and being in there at a special performance or something, that's special. So give the music away so that there's a reason for you to keep touring, and then what's special is seeing you in person and having a bit more interaction with that artist. So the whole thing's flipped on its head. And that's why I think, the only reason why Nails is on tour all year is because they gave a record away. If there was no new material, there'd be no reason to go see him again because you saw him on the last time they had a record out. So you do have to have new product, whether it's free or not. You do need to have new stuff to keep people interested in coming to see what you're going to do next. And it's all about driving people to come see you, which for me is exciting because my favorite part of everything I've done in the last 20 years has always been the shows. It's exciting to make records, but it's also very long and it's grueling, and there's nothing worse than you've made this song you love and you know it's going to be 9 months before anyone gets to hear it because you got to finish the record and then it gets put into production and then there's a press setup for 3 months and all this way of marketing. And by the time it comes out, you've lived with it for so long, it's not immediately as exciting as the kid who's hearing it for the first time on your MySpace page type of thing, But that live performance, whether it's in 100 people or 100,000 people, every night walking out there, man, I get butterflies, and it's exciting, and you never know what's going to happen, and it's just awesome, and I love it. Sometimes it starts pouring rain, and the gear shorts out, and your show's awful. Some nights you're just like halfway through the set, and it's one of those magical nights where everything's just clicking, and everybody looks at each other like, we're the best we've been all year, like right now. And it's like, that's so great. And to have 50,000 people sitting there kind of sensing like, wow, man, these guys are really on to something tonight. Like, and I've seen them 10 times, but I don't know what's going on tonight, but something's clicking, it's full moon or something. I don't know. That is exciting. And that's why, that's why it's all changed, and it's all about that. And I've heard the new Nine Inch Nails tour is really amazing production. There's something with these moving LED walls that are interactive, and if one of the guys walks in front of it, it does something to the wall. It senses. I'm not really sure. I'm obviously not going to go see it live, but I've just heard incredible things. So, and just, seeing bands and talking about great shows like Radiohead or Muse's last show was amazing. Bjork's last tour was amazing. I mean, I've seen so many good shows in the last couple of years, and always at festivals and always in Europe.